showtime, where we take this worldwide. Let's go. Listen. So now it's time to turn it up. Surf the radio waves as we begin to burn it up. We all up in your area like landscape, definitely bringing you the Pancakes. It's a mandate that you tune in. It's time to move out so we can move in and recognize that this is no illusion. I'm here to clear the air so that there is no confusion. It all started off in the book of Genesis when Jacob was wrestling with who he thought was his nemesis. And when the man saw he couldn't overpower him, he touched his hip but he really could have devoured him. And from that point then we hear a name change, rearrange the game, so now we gotta change lanes. So I'm here to let you know it's time to listen to the Pancake and Power Slam show. Let's go! Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam show. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam show. Turn it up.
362, ladies and gentlemen, episode. This is the Pancakes, the Power Slam show. I am Chris Featherstone. Of course, we are here live and living Kelligan, funky like a monkey if you will, baby. I am Chris Featherstone. Of course, follow us at Crave Wrestling and join the Facebook fan page, Crave Wrestling. So here's the thing. Here's the funny thing about tonight. 362 episodes of this Pancakes and Power Slam show, voted number 26 in the top 60 pro wrestling podcasts in the world, approaching 150 different wrestling guests, over 200 interviews, 7 years in April. Why am I saying all these credentials? Because, as Jim Ross would say to Sid, we're live, pal. About an hour and a half ago, I started to log on and everything. And the Blog Talk site where I host the audio and have all the sound bites and the studio stuff, it has crashed. It is not, it is like totally not working at all. So I kept, for the past hour and a half, I kept going back and back and back, trying to create the episodes back and back and back. And it still wouldn't come up. And so, of course, I am frustrated. However, the show must go on. Thank God I have suitable equipment to actually do a very good plan B, along with the intro song, along with along with everything else. So yeah, we're here, we're live. We've already got questions up here. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I have my buddy. It's funny. I've said this many times. I've maintained many relationships with wrestlers that I've interviewed. I've never interviewed this person. Almost 7 years in the show, 362 episodes. But we chat quite a bit outside, off air nowadays. The past few weeks, man, I've gotten acquainted with this person, man, from my experience with him so far. Very nice guy, and just very upstanding person. He is a doctor, if I'm not mistaken. I'll be joining him in the doctor club this year. He, ladies and gentlemen, if you have back problems, he's your guy. and I've said this many times before. I love when professional wrestlers, and I've had many people on the show who can attest to this. I love when professional wrestlers have very, very successful careers outside of the professional wrestling business, because here's the thing. There's only a certain amount of time. There's only a certain time frame that you have as a professional wrestler, usually the 40 to the 45 year old mark. That's when you kind of are on your way to kind of like hanging it up. If you're still your days in the WWE or whatever big promotion you were in wasn't, it's not, it was kind of behind you. most of the wrestling career, ahead of you is very thin and won't last long once you pass that 45 mark. But, statistically, you have 30, 35 more years to live. So, with that, that makes it very, very interesting because, here's the thing. Looks like the video froze too, so that's fine. Oh, here he is. All right, so I'm about to bring you on right here just a moment. And so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to make this work. Okay, looks like the video froze. We'll make this all work here in a minute. All right, so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we made it work. The equipment that I have made it work, and ain't nothing going to bring us down, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is, Shawn Stasiak. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing well, Chris. Thanks for that introduction, and thanks for having me on. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but when you were making that intro, I went completely silent, blank. I couldn't hear anything, so I had to hang up and call back. I'm not sure if you're aware that I'm having technical difficulties, and I told you earlier when I first called in that you'll never meet another human being on planet Earth that will encounter more techie issues than me. I don't care what it is, an iPhone, an iPad, a laptop, you name it. I go to Geek Squad, Best Buy's Geek Squad. I walk in and say, have you ever had this problem? And they'll look at me and say, no, we've never seen this before, sir. And I say, it doesn't surprise me. I say it's my spiritual frequency is so strong that it interferes with the techie world.
There you go.
So, but here we are.
Yes, we are here, and it looks like the live chat can hear you fine as well. Let me confirm with the live chat. Can you hear Shawn well? I think you all should be able to hear him just fine and very crisp, if I'm not mistaken. I think I got everything set up right. Yep. Okay, so it looks like they can hear you fine. All right.
I'm glad you have a plan. I'm glad you have a plan B. It's working.
Yeah, man. Listen, I've had so many fun stories about this daggone show, man. And like I said, it'll be 7 years in April. Actually, the Tuesday before WrestleMania, we'll be celebrating 7 years. And so,
wow.
Yeah, with that 7 years, man, it's been. I've got so many fun stories about this show of time. I've shared it on my podcast before. I mean, there are times where my Wi-Fi and I live in a house now. I've been in a house for 3 years now, but I lived in a townhome before then. There were times like 5-6 years ago where my Wi-Fi was completely down. So I actually had to, I think one of the funniest stories that I have about my show is that my Wi-Fi was completely down. This is probably about 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. Wi-Fi was completely down. So I actually had, and this was when it was just purely audio. I've been doing a video for probably a couple years now, audio and video. But when I could get away with it when it was just completely audio. And so my Wi-Fi was completely down. So I'm really, really adamant about having the show every single week. It's I kind of have like that Vince McMahon syndrome when it comes to the show must go on every single week. And I made it happen. It's something, and it has been. It's been 362 straight weeks that the show's been on. There were a couple times where I had to miss that. I had a wonderful co-host. I had back surgery twice during that 7 years, and so other thing happened. I've had 2 babies, and I started March of 2012, so I've had 3 babies in that 7-year mark, a 6, a 4, and a 1-year-old. so wow. The 3 babies and the 2 back surgeries, all of that in within 7 years, and we've still had the show going every single week. So the funniest part, Shawn, was I had no Wi-Fi, so I ended up to adamantly make sure that the show must go on. I actually drove to a Tim Hortons parking lot, and I picked up their Wi-Fi from outside
Wow.
And I did an audio version of the show live in a Tim Hortons parking lot, and it gets even funnier. Probably about a half hour, 20 minutes to a half an hour into my show, all of a sudden I see a bunch of huge flashing lights, police knocking on my car door, and trying to get my attention. So I guess apparently I was called. There was a suspicious car that didn't come out of the car. It was a suspicious car. Nobody came out of it. So I guess Tim Hortons called. Police comes knocking on my door, and so the podcast abruptly ends. So that's probably the funniest story.
At least you had that on air. That would make for an interesting episode, I'm
sure.
Yeah,
It's funny because I actually did. It's still on air. If you go in my archives, it's somewhere there. So probably if you go on the archives, probably the shortest show, or one of the people saying in the chat line, what episode was that? Okay, so if you go, I think it was either 2012 or 2013. If you go to one of the short shows, of course you can subscribe on iTunes. Go on one of the short shows, click one of those, and you'll see it abruptly end. And that's the that's the short episode. That's the one where the police officer.
Do you say you have a number? You think you'd remember that number of that episode because of the events that took place?
Yeah, it's whatever, because the show is typically 90 minutes. Well, it's typically 2 hours long. The format was 90 minutes. Now it's two hours. But any show, if there's a show that stands out like a sore thumb from like 2013, that's only like 20 or 30 minutes long, that's the show. That's the one that the police officer had the police officers were knocking on my window. So that was
I would
fun.
say that you definitely had some commitment to the show, and that's admirable. There's a few podcasters out in the sports entertainment world that have the same outlook on that, and that's why they've had success. I think that persistency and consistency will equal longevity, so it's great. It keeps the integrity of your show. So
yep,
I commend you for that.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. All right, so let's get to you, man. Shawn Stasiak, Shawn the man, son of Stan the man, Meat, whatever you want to add into it. You got your PMS days. You got your WCW Tag Team Champion Thriller days. Man, you've been around in the pro wrestling business, man. So, I've been a journalist for about a decade now, and I interviewed people. I interview people all the time, and I always my angle was to always say something different. I don't really like saying, okay, well, how'd you start in the pro wrestling business? I'm sure you've had plenty of interviews with people ask you that. So, so the thing is, I usually ask questions that probably no one ever asked, and of course, we got the live chat with the hashtag #AskShawn. So let's talk about just some random stuff that probably someone never asked you. So, you were in WCW, you were in WWE. Bischoff or Vince, who was better to work for and why?
Well, I really didn't have a lot of experience working with Eric Bischoff because at that time, from what I remember, I mean, it's been 18 years since that time. 18, 19 years, really. It's been that. I cannot believe it's already been almost 2 decades.
Wow, that's true. So that was more Russo, right?
Yeah, I worked more with Russo because they had that angle with the New Blood versus the Millionaires Club, and the Millionaires Club was headed up by Eric Bischoff. That was the veterans, and then of course the New Blood was the newer guys, and of course I had been with WWE for about a year. I think almost 2 years with training, and then being down in Memphis for a few months before I was called up to the main roster. But I was considered the New Blood, and I think there was just something politically or something that went wrong in the office, just egos and politics, and you can only imagine. I was just focused on, just arriving at a new company, starting a clean slate, having a new opportunity, and resetting my career, and just focusing on doing the best I could do given the opportunities I was given.
Yeah.
So I really didn't pay a whole lot of attention, and at that point in my career, I was still relatively a rook. I was new in the business, and I was just trying to learn as much as I could and get as much experience and exposure on TV as I could. And I just was pretty much, did what I was told. But on the same token, when I look back between the two companies, I have to say that I felt that I was had a little bit better political treatment with WCW, given the fact that I was had much more TV exposure, was included in angles, wore the tag team championship a couple times, traveled the world, was on all the pay-per-views. So that was exciting, to have that experience.
Yep. Yeah, that you were pretty over, and I think WCW gave you more justice than WWE. When you were Meat, I think that was more of a gimmick. It just didn't seem like it had a really long shelf life. It seems like PMS were the bigger focal points than you was, and I think just from an athleticism standpoint, you look like $1 million. You still do. If people check him out on Facebook, man, he's still jacked to the max. And but yeah, it's 20 plus years ago. You were just really you looked the part as far as just pushing someone, but it seems like WWE never had like longevity plans for you. Was there ever something that was in the books that they were trying to brew up or trying to book you for, and it never came into fruition, or was it just a bunch of empty promises? What necessarily happened? What specifically happened as far as just your career as Meat in the WWE?
Honestly, Chris, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. I look back at that stage of my life, and I wasn't real overly pleased with that gimmick. I didn't have any pride in it. I was new in the business. I had anticipated all my teenage life and young, adult life, college, in my early 20s. I was anticipating that I would make a run for professional wrestling. I was an amateur wrestler, very competitive through high school and Division I in college, for Boise State University. And so I was, I was always a fan, of course, being influenced by my dad, being raised around the business. Of course, he had been retired for many years, and so when he retired in '84, of course, the business started to make a turn and change. And so then when I was a teenager, I got into it and watched a lot of it with my buddies in high school, and we, working out in the gym, and I had your favorites, and I was inspired by quite a few of the wrestlers, the ones that had the better builds and the larger than life, comic book characters come to life with the face paint, the Ultimate Warrior, Sting, the Road Warriors. So, but I anticipated that I would be Shawn Stasiak, would be, being the lineage that I came from, a second generation wrestler, maybe with a twist on it, with a little bit of, sizzle and glitz to it somehow. It's just boring to say you're a second generation wrestler. Okay,
Right.
Big deal. What does that mean?
Right.
So, but out of respect, that the lineage is there and you embrace that, but to have your own, to make your own name, be your own man. And that was my plan. And so when I was given the character Meat, that just came from, honestly, I was very disappointed. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
After all these years of anticipation, all the amateur years of wrestling, all the working out, all the years of watching my dad and being raised around guys like Andre the Giant in your house, and Ric Flair and Harley Race and Rocky Johnson and these wrestlers, Roddy Pipers. I lived in Portland, Oregon for years of my early childhood, and I was exposed to that Don Owens promotion in the in the Pacific Northwest. And so I had this built-in lineage and this my own personal experience around that business, and then to be called a one-word stupid gimmick name called Meat, I didn't know what it even was.
Yep.
So I wasn't, but then someone had pulled me aside and said, look, Shawn, it's no different than being an actor. you got to roll in a movie or a TV show, and you're in a few series, and just play the character best you can. Just get the experience. You're not going to be meat forever. It'll turn around. So I went by that and did the best I could, and that's how I looked at it. But looking back, it's just a stupid gimmick, and I just took it for what it was and tried to do the best I could with, given the circumstances, given what I was given.
Very true. I think that's well said, and I think you bring a really, really good point as far as just the second generation wrestler. I think it's kind of like you're a bridge. You're a bridge between, just a generation before you and creating something different. And I think, someone like yourself, or someone like a Joe Hennig, aka Curtis Axel. I think when because he was like Michael McGillicuddy, coming into the main roster, and it's like when you completely dismiss the lineage, he's a third generation wrestler, and when you when you completely dismiss the lineage, to me that makes absolutely no sense, because you can use that lineage and create something different, create something new. That's why, I got to give kudos to someone like a Cody Rhodes, right? Because he used the Rhodes lineage of his dad, Dusty, one of the greatest of all time. And there's hardly anything to compare with him and Dusty other than the lineage. He kept the Rhodes name, he kept the Rhodes lineage, and he did something real big, about it to really become his own. And I personally think that you could have done that. I mean, I think if WWE could have, would have gave you the go ahead, I definitely think that you had the look and the ability, the wrestling ability to do it. And I definitely think, I agree with you. I think that wasn't a really good chance to really use the lineage and bridge that to create your own identity with that lineage. So, yeah, I agree with that.
Chris, you brought up an interesting point that just actually stemmed an idea for just right here listening to you. It's funny how that works. So just hearing you, and I just was thinking about Rhodes, and I was thinking about like Dustin Rhodes, Goldust, and he played. And I'll be honest, I understand characters. I understand, the fiction aspect of professional wrestling. It's the theatrical. I appreciate that, and I embrace that aspect. I really do. I think the problem is, now with Goldust, for instance, I thought that's a very successful overall. It's a successful character over the years. It might have faded off. It's had its moments. It's kind of come back and reinvented itself, more of a comical character. But in the beginning, it touched a raw nerve. It was very it was new. People weren't used to something like that. I don't know what. I don't know what his. I guess people were. I guess a homophobic button is what they were touching with that character. But but
more
it
of
worked.
Androgynous type of deal.
Yeah. But it worked, and because he did have success with it, people still knew him deep down as Dustin Rhodes, one of the sons of Dusty Rhodes, the late great legendary Dusty Rhodes. So I don't think that hurt somebody like Dustin because it was a success. I think that if you try a gimmick that's like you said, McGillicuddy or Meat. Right, and it's an absolute fail. It might have been Meat had its entertaining moments. When I look back at some of the content, I think I look at it now in my stage of my life now with the spiritual awareness I have now, and just being older, looking at that, it's so close to home, meaning it's so familiar to me, but yet it's so foreign at the same time. It's kind of an odd thing when I watch it, but anyway. Because it wasn't as huge, as big, obviously it wasn't successful like a Goldust character. That's why I think it was difficult for when I did try to bring Shawn Stasiak, because they gave me that. It's just be Shawn Stasiak, but no one cared. There was no reason to care. They didn't really give me much to work. Now I'm talking about WWE.
Right.
And again, I'm not making it like pointing fingers and making this about poor Shawn and have a sap story here. No, it's just the facts. I just wasn't given a real opportunity for fans to even give a crap about me. Like, why would they care? Right. I think fans were waiting for something to happen. Give me a reason to care. Put me in an angle or a storyline, whether I'm a heel or a face, beat the crap out of me and create sympathy for Shawn Stasiak, or let me turn into a complete jerk and we're going to keep this PG-13, right? Is this PG show?
PG show, yep.
so or we could turn him into a lethal heel, and tick everybody off. So the thing was that the time that I came around as Shawn Stasiak, I just felt that they didn't really give me much for people to really care. Whereas Goldust was a successful character, I also think though that he could easily just take the face paint off, show up to the ring, cut a promo, and he might have done this before. I don't know. Correct me if I'm mistaken here, but he could easily do that and cut a real shoot promo saying, I'm Dustin Rhodes. I'm son of legendary Dusty Rhodes. I've been painting my face for all these years, and you know what? I might do my family. You can do all kinds of storylines and angles and create a real shoot that is believable because it's an extension of him. It's really Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah,
so I think that if you have success with those other characters, those gimmick characters, I think that you can transition back to being the real person, the man behind the face paint or behind the gimmick. Whereas it's harder if you failed at something. Now you're trying to come back and embrace your reality of who you are.
I think that's a fantastic point. And even with Dustin, he was in the WWE as Dustin Rhodes before Goldust. He had the late '80s run with Dusty. When Dusty was did his WCW run. Well, WCW run, and so he already established himself in WCW as the Natural and things like that, and then so when he came, when he came to the WWE, I believe it was '95 when he debuted. He already had about a good 5 years of Dusty's boy. You know what I mean? He already had that kind of like in his back pocket going into WWE. So, I was and when he debuted in WWE, I was in high school. And I remember, because I remember the 8, 9, 10-year-old days when I remember Dusty's boy, Dustin, the Natural, you know what I mean? And seeing him as Goldust, it made it even more shocking because I was like, wait a minute, that's Dusty's boy, and the fact that he already cemented that for about a good 5 years of his career and just went totally left. I think that helped him a whole lot because if he would have just came in as Goldust, I don't think it would have been as successful as already having 5 years as, Dusty's boy and just going completely different, which I think that really helped his the longevity of Goldust.
Oh, absolutely. And Dustin is just I think he's one of the best performers ever. I mean, I think he's underrated. I think he's not acknowledged for as good of a talent that he is. Yep. Just everything he does is so smooth, and his transitions, his bumps, his selling, his moves, everything. I mean, he, and because that's just a testament of his skill level to be able to take that far left gimmick and to really run it, and have success with that. Mm-hmm. And earlier I had made the point that because he had success and he'd be able to be himself and have success with that. I guess it doesn't matter which comes first, the chicken or the egg. I think if you're just talented, you have the talent and you have that, built within you, but you're given, it really depends on what the company, the writers, the decision makers are, what creativity, what creative control do you have to be able to exude your character. So meaning if you're given a platform, whether you're a gimmick character or you're just an extension of the reality of who you really are as a person, as long as you're given angles and storylines and an opportunity to and some time in the support behind all that, give it 6 months, 8 months, and then it gives people a reason to care. And you can develop, if you have the talent and you have the support of the company, you're going to have success no matter if it's a gimmick character or it's a reality extension of your reality, of who you are. So I think that's, and so with Dustin's case, you know, it didn't. He was just that damn good. He was able to have success with whatever he did. You know,
he still is. I mean, it's still, man. I'm like, man. You know, for someone his age, you know, he can still move. Someone 20 years younger than he is, for sure. Yep.
And Cody's a great worker too. You know, he's that. It's just some families just have that in their blood. I mean, look at the John Jones brothers. That family, those two, his brothers are badass football players in the NFL. And you got John Jones, love him or hate him, he's the best man that's ever done it, you know, in MMA. So some people just have that blood lineage, man. It's that's just deep in the roots.
Very true. Laurinaitis is as well. You know, you got Joe and James, and you know, so. Yep, I agree with you. All right, so let's ask some questions from the peanut gallery here. Some flash questions here. Got some really good ones here stored up for you. The live chat room is lit. And some great conversation going on here. Hashtag Ask Shawn, and let's start with the first question from Rob. What was going through your mind when WCW closed, and who informed you you were headed to work for WWE, and when? So a three-parter, all toward the same point. A good question.
Yeah, my mindset at the time, honestly, was I felt good. I had been away from WWE for about a year, maybe a little bit over a year, or was it even a year? God, you know, about a year, just under a year. And, you know, I had, like I said, I had honed my craft better. I had more experience. I had more TV time. I had traveled the world. I was coming into my own more and more. And I, of course, you know, the feedback was positive. I was still, you never stop learning. But I felt good with my chances going. I knew that there was talk about WWE, you know, buying the company. But honestly, I only wanted to work for one company in my entire life, and that was the WWE. And the only reason I went to WCW was because I really didn't have a choice because of an unfortunate rib that went bad and cost me my job. And I'm sure, you know, people know I'm synonymous with the tape recorder incident. I've shared the reality of that story a million times, and you can just play back and archive that. And I'm not afraid to I used to be irritated by that question, but I just realized that, you know, it's going to be always follow me around. But the reality is it's just a rib that went bad, cost me my job. And I had to go to WCW because I still had a passion and a love for the business. And that was the only big company that was around at the time, where I could have gone to Japan, but I wanted to stay on American soil. So I went there. They gave me an opportunity, and I thought I had a great year. It was fun. Worked with Kevin Nash, Diamond Dallas Page. I had a battle royal one night. It was with all those legends in there. It was just, I was like a kid in a candy store. Ric Flair, Sting, Lex Luger, Macho Man Randy Savage. To take a chop just to get tossed over the top rope by the Macho Man was an honor. You know, Hulk Hogan, got to work with him a little bit. So it was a great experience for me, and I'm very, very grateful. Feel very blessed that I feel blessed that the WWE gave me my opportunity, my initial, that platform to start out on. But I feel very grateful that WCW gave me their opportunity. And then being taken back by WWE, I wasn't surprised. And I think I knew within the first week or two. I think the agent at the time was Johnny Laurinaitis, and he stayed in contact with the younger crew at least. We were kind of assigned to him, so that was my point of communication. And he said, yeah, things look good, and I felt good about it. And I thought that, you know, bygones would be bygones, and everyone realized that what had happened when I got released from there the first time, it was just no wrongful intent whatsoever. Just played a joke on a couple guys that went wrong, got taken the wrong way, and it blew up. And I got fired because of it from my dream job with WWE. And I was coming back home. That's where I wanted to be anyway. And I was like, you know, I anticipated that they were going to say, okay, Shawn learned his lesson. He learned the hard way, went away for a year, honed his craft, got better. We're going to take him back. Now we're going to make money and do something with him. That never came.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Next question. How did the WCW locker room treat you and the rest of the NBT, Natural Born Thrillers? Okay, MBT and Natural Born Thrillers when you were there. Any stories of issues between you or your stablemates having problems with any other talent?
Okay, so the question is, how was I received in the WCW locker room when I went there?
Yeah.
Oh, I was received well because I went to the power plant for about a month. I think the reason why now with the Natural Born Thrillers, it was Sean O'Hare, Mark Jindrak, Chuck Palumbo, Mike Sanders, a guy named Reno, Kiwi. I can't remember their other first names, but I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, all those guys, they embraced me. They brought me in. They accepted me. I busted my ass for a month, and I think what it was a proving ground. Even though I had been in the business and on TV, I had a little more experience than those guys because they hadn't. I think some of them might have been on some of the smaller shows, like equivalent to like a Sunday Night Heat with WWE. I think it was called Saturday. I don't even know what it was called. One of those Saturday
WCW
shows,
Saturday Night.
Yeah, stuff like that. Those kind of shows, and which were great. They were on TV, and they were great experience. For them to get experience, and it was a show, TV show, which was great. But it wasn't what like Nitro or like Raw is with WWE.
Right.
But still, I think Palumbo had a few matches, and maybe a couple of the other guys. But yeah, they when I got there, I was taken in, accepted. But I think the first few days they were just kind of leery maybe because of what they had heard, and it's a small world, that business. Yeah. News travels everywhere, and so I think I was just tested, and they tested me physically, and I passed all the tests. I mean, I come from a Division I wrestling background, and I went through some of the most rigorous, hardest types of training you could ever even fathom, and I'm so glad, and I feel very blessed and grateful that I've had that experience because that's been the glue that's kept me together all these years up to this very day. I'm so glad I had my amateur wrestling and of course having the wellness and fitness lifestyle that I've led to be 48 and to still be, it's been the glue that's kept me together. But that was what got me through that power plant. And I created a coalition with these guys, became friends. And then when they called us up to the main roster with the WCW New Blood angle, I was part of that. And then, of course, Palumbo and I were paired up, and we kind of things just went on from there. We were now on the main roster, and storylines changed, gimmicks changed, and it might not have been the best writing, and it might not have been too many chiefs, not enough Indians, so to speak. But at the end of the day, I was just happy. Hey, look, I was getting a paycheck. I was making better money than I was with WWE. I was on TV more. I was getting way more experience, getting mic time. I mean, it was great. It was great for me. It was a great experience.
That's awesome.
I just wish that was on the WWE platform because that's what, like I said, that's the only company I ever wanted to work at. And I always anticipated my young life that's what I would have done.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Good stuff, man. Let's see. Next question from Malty. What's your favorite moment as a wrestler and watching your dad wrestle?
What is so that a two-part question?
Yep.
What is my favorite moment?
Yep, your favorite moment as a wrestler
Okay.
and watching your dad wrestle.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to think here. This is a moment that I'm going to share a bit of a mark-out story, and this is a moment that was never televised or captured on TV. I would say the best match that I ever had was a house show, 2 house shows back-to-back in New York with Chris Jericho. Nice. And they were house shows, and they were never televised. And what made those so fun and so exciting was that he was so over as a face, and I was a heel. But at that time, again, this is when I made my second tenure with WWE. I was part of this alliance group, with the Stone Cold Steve Austin alliance thing and WCW Invasion angle. And people didn't really, I wasn't isolated enough as a character for people really to care at that moment. I was hoping that something was going to come around. Anyway, they put me in a match with Jericho, and everything I did, they booed me out of the building. It could have been a punch, getting over on him on some kind of a move. He'd bump for me, they'd boo. Whenever he chopped me, did this, punched me, kicked, whatever, they would pop. And it was just the crowd reaction, and I finally was like, wow, this is what that's like.
Yeah.
Like every move, it was just such a crowd reaction. And the time and we went back and forth, and he gave me a lot, man. Threw him out of the ring, beat the crap out of him, got my heat. But when it was time to turn it around, and when I was in the walls of Jericho, that place was deafening loud. And I'll tell you one thing. Hey, look, if someone ever put you like really in the walls of Jericho, or that move, that reverse crab, that particular maneuver, I'm telling you, cinch down on that could snap someone's back. You can hardly breathe. So the key is don't get in that thing.
Yeah.
Stay away from it.
That's a good point.
But yeah, but that was like a highlight for me, because I remember the biggest thing was when you go backstage and you had guys like William Regal, who's very highly regarded as a technician and just well respected in that business, and then Mark Calloway, the Undertaker, come up to you, look you in your eyes, and shake your hand and say, "That was a heck of a performance you guys put on tonight, man. I'm really proud of you," or "That was a great match." That was great to hear. That's coming from not only your peers, but some of the highest regarded peers in that locker room in that business. Yeah. So that was a cool moment for me. But you know what? Okay, so the markout story. I think you guys will appreciate this. So who didn't grow up watching Hulk Hogan and had a bit of, whether you're a heel fan or you cheer for the baby faces, who doesn't like Hulk Hogan, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting in the locker room. I have this Planet Stasiak character, which WWE and I just could not get that right. That never translated how it was supposed to be. But anyway, I'm in my Planet Stasiak gear. I got my hair spiked up. I got my gear on, and there's Hulk Hogan in the across the locker room in his own little corner there, and it's just him and I, and we're just kind of shooting the breeze a little bit, and all of a sudden some camera guy comes in and says, he goes, "Hulk, you're on next, and this commercial break, and he's like barely laced his boots, and now he's like, he's a WWE champion at this time, or WWF. I guess it was WWE back then at this point. Mm-hmm. This would have been like 2002. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we've been WWE. So anyway, he's like, he's looking around like he's got to put this belt on, right, around his waist, and he's looking. He goes, "Shawn," he called me Meat Man. "Hey, Meat Man, brother, can you come over here and put this belt on me?" No problem, Hulk. I came over, strapped it up, because you got to snap it from the backside. I snapped that belt on, and there's a mirror there, and he was just kind of checking himself out last minute before he went out to the ring, make sure his garb, everything looked right. And I was standing there in my Planet Stasiak, garb. Mm-hmm. And it was like a Kodak moment where, it was just cool to see the reflection in the mirror, Hulk Hogan with the WWE or WWF championship belt that I just helped him out and put that on his waist. And I'm standing there, and I was like, wow, here's a guy who was a kind of a teenage high school idol of mine, kind of one of my heroes. And it was just that moment, that split second where I was like, wow, this is really cool. And no one saw that. It was just him and I. And that was probably one of my more favorite moments. That was maybe a 3-second memory, but it was something that I always held near and dear to my heart because of the impact and the influence Hulk Hogan had on me as a young boy growing up.
That's really cool, man. I'm about to. Yeah, I think of stuff very psychological, mental, because I'm about to be a doctor in psychology, so that's called an impact moment, and so, like for instance, it's, someone who's like 70 years old, they wouldn't. They don't remember what they ate yesterday, but they remember back in '68 and where they was to the minute when it was announced that Martin Luther King died. You know what I mean? So those things. There's certain things that will just you'll take with you forever, and those are the impact moments. And so yeah, good stuff, man.
And to answer the question about my father, it's hard to answer because I had so many highlights with him. He was I looked up to him, figuratively and physically looked up to him, and as a kid growing up. But I would say that anytime he was, I have a lot of memories of when we lived in Portland, Oregon, where Don Owens had that territory, the Pacific Northwest territory. And whenever Andre came into town, they always seemed to put my dad in tag matches with him. So that was always fun to see. I met Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, when his dad came through the territory in Portland, and my dad and Rocky Johnson wrestled. Of course, Dwayne and I hung out in the what was called the Crow's Nest in Portland, where all the wrestlers did their interviews and where the cameras were, where the commentating table was, and they would put the wrestlers, immediate family there, and that's where I met Dwayne, and so. Nice. I remember when the matches were over and everyone cleared out, then all the kids would jump in the ring like a playground, and Dwayne and I just kind of played around the ring as kids. I think I was 10 or 11. He would have been 9 or so. I'm about a year and a half older, but anytime my dad, when they put him with Billy Jack Haynes and they won the Pacific Northwest tag team titles, or when he won, I think a tag team title with Roddy Piper. I think those were the highlights of me watching my dad. And then, if my dad had been the reason why they won the match, usually he'd end the match with his infamous heart punch, and the place would go nuts and it would be definitely loud in the arena. So I have a number of good memories of my father watching him perform. Nice.
Well, Max, about 2 or 3 more just to, respect your time, just like I said I was going to do. So let's see. Mahmoud is asking, what is it like being retired after leaving WWE, and what made you decide to hang up your wrestling boots?
Well, life outside of wrestling it's had its challenges because I've been away from mainstream, wrestling, WWE, since 2002. So we're climbing in on, it'll be 17 years. I can't even believe it's been that long. I always had 2 aspiring careers. As a young man growing up, I wanted to take after my father, and get into the professional wrestling business, which I did. And the other was to become a chiropractor. And so, in 2002, I was just frustrated because they weren't using me. They were just using me to put other guys over and build other people. And I just didn't feel the love, didn't feel the support. I was very discouraged. And I did the best I could, given what I was given, to try to, improve my work, improve my I didn't have really any mic time. I really didn't have an opportunity to really hone my skills, And again, I'm not trying to make this into a sap story, but I was frustrated and I was very discouraged. And I thought, I just need to get away from this for a while. And so my release just came. And I knew at that point, I said, I'm not going to try to go to Japan. I'm not going to try to work my way through the indies and work back at WWE again. I'm going to go pursue the chiropractic career and see if I can actually do that. And that's exactly what I did. And so in the 13 years that I've been in practice and been a practicing chiropractor here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I will say that that's had its challenges too. And this is what's going to lead me into this next chapter I'm about to share here. But I love helping people. There's nothing more liberating and fulfilling when you can make the difference in someone's lives and change the course of their lives through health and wellness. And in my case, I have a healing art in my hands. I take pride in my adjusting. I'm a good adjuster. I'm a good communicator, and I've made those changes. But there's been something missing for me for many years, and I've even knocked at the door a few times at WWE. I pride myself into staying in as best shape as I can year round. Some people go as far as saying I look better now than I did, 18 years ago. I don't recover as quick, I'm sure. I'm 17 years older. But again, like I mentioned earlier in this interview, that the glue that's kept me together all these years is the wellness and fitness and that lifestyle, and that includes chiropractic. But just being in an office I feel like a lion salivating, wanting to tear through the bars and roam the jungle. And so just being an entertainer is not going to be fulfilling enough, because I've been on this self learning journey with just learning about myself as a man and the world and my spirituality and whatnot, and trying to find true purpose and real meaning and why I'm even here. And so I've dug deep, and I've done a lot of soul searching. And, I've had time to reflect back on my life as a man, in my career as a wrestler, my career as a chiropractor, just myself as a man. And I'm actually at a crossroads right now where I finally have realized that everything I've done in my life, I've had successes, I've had a lot of failures, I've fallen flat on my face, but I always pick myself up somehow, some way. I dust myself off because I feel like I know that there's something greater, that all these chapters that I might have felt that I fell short of, I've felt for years as a failure in professional wrestling because I didn't make it to the pit. When I was a teenager and said, if I ever make the WWE, I'm going to be a multi-time WWE champion. I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm going to be a multi-millionaire in that business. I'm going to be regarded as one of the best. That was my mindset. So, you come from that kind of lineage and family, that blood, and you'll get there, you question yourself. And I've done this with other things in my life, with my amateur wrestling career, fell short on a couple goals there. Even in my chiropractic career, there's, I've had success, but there's also been some speed bumps too. So what I'm trying to say is that you can look at the cup as half empty, and really beat yourself up. But what I've learned is that, life is really a journey, not to sound cliche. And I really believe that as long as we're here, as long as we know that we can learn from the previous chapter and pick ourselves up and know that we're going to give everything we have and work the best that we can for the next chapter. We're only as good as our last chapter. So for me, all these chapters that these hats that I've worn, professional wrestler, chiropractor, fitness enthusiast, I've come up with an anti-bullying, anti-crime theatrical character by the name of Phobia, and it means, phobia means fear, but my message is face your fear, overcome your fear, and take your life power back. And most people live I think, Chris, when you think it's safe to say that most people live feeling very unfulfilled. They have unfulfillment in their lives. They're waking up every day to an alarm clock, going to a job they can't stand, but they feel stuck because they have to pay the bills. They got to keep the lights on. They got to put food on the table. They got families. They got kids, right? But what's keeping them stuck? It's fear. Their fear of failure. Their fear of rejection. So I created this theatrical character that's a depiction of me in all the facets of my life that I have had fears and have had to face and have challenges. And so I finally realized that being Dr. Shawn's great, and I'll always have my hand in the chiropractic and wellness industry because that's just my lifestyle, and I'm going to always encourage that lifestyle and help. If I can help motivate, inspire, whatever I can do to help people live a more enchanting, vibrant life, I'm going to do that. But being in an office 24/7 is not. It's not my. I don't think it's my strongest point. And just being an entertainer, I am a performer, there's no doubt. I love to entertain. I love to make people laugh, love to put a smile on your face. But that if I just did that all the time, that wouldn't be fulfilling. So I finally realized, what is it that I need, that I feel I was called upon to do, that all my life chapters, what has led to this next great chapter that will be your legacy? And that is simply being a voice. It's being a messenger. And I guess in essence, that would be a speaker. And so I have done quite a bit of this, but I'm taking it to a whole new level now. And I'm finding my own niche, and I'll have my own unique, dynamic way of expression of the points that I'll cover. But that is really where my life is at now. I'm at a crossroads with that, and I am very excited. I feel very liberated that I finally connected with this notion that, look, I stay in shape, and I'm always, people say, would you ever go back to wrestling? Look, I'm always open for the right business. If the business details are right, it makes sense for them, it makes sense for me, and the storyline's right, I'm open to that. But I'm certainly not waiting by the phone, to ring. I'm going to do something that has merit, substance, and purpose in anything I do. I don't want to waste a company's time, and I'm not going to waste my time. And especially at my age now, too, So, meaning it would have to probably be, I'm an older vehicle, but we still got a few miles on this baby. We can still get to some destinations. We just got to take care of it.
Yeah.
Just take care of it and be smart. And and it would be, it'd be a shame. I've said this for years. There's never been a father-son duo in the WWE to ever become champion. I really legitimately could still be the first. And I've knocked on the door and I promoted this. And Chris, you've probably seen some of this on my social media. I play with it. I have fun with it. But I really thought about it. I said, it's kind of a shame that it hasn't been used yet. Because honestly, whether I would attain that or not, just the storyline itself, the message is this: never give up. Mm-hmm. And if you have a dream or a vision, just go after it and don't be attached to the outcome. Live every day is the blessing. Every day the journey is the blessing. Every day that you're trying towards something is motivating and inspiring others to get off their butts and try and go after something. Because if you don't try, nothing will ever happen.
Right.
So whether I attain that or I didn't, it's just the mere fact that that's the objective, that's the goal, that's the reason why I've made a return. And it's the message I'm sending is, you're never too old. You're never too old for don't buy into that I'm too old business, because it's not true. There's limitations. There comes a point where you are too old, sure. But I don't think in my late 40s and being, if you take care of yourself and you live a vibrant life, I think that being in your late 40s, if you do it right and take care of yourself, I think it can still be done. Mm-hmm. So anyway, life out of wrestling, it's been one of those things where I miss certain elements of it, but I don't miss a lot of things of it. But I'm always open for the right business. And that was a long response, but I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, get it out, man. I agree with you as far as goal setting, man. I always tell people, my thing is, my philosophy is, even if you don't make goals, you've reached your goal of failing to set goals. So no matter what, it's still a goal. It's still a goal that's being set, even if it's indirect. So if you have nothing to look for, you failed to set goals. So that's you still made
Absolutely.
your goal. So yeah. Well, I'm going to respect your time, Shawn. I know that you had an audible for as far as work related that is only going to give you a few hours of sleep. We did talk about a part 2. There's a lot of questions here that are unanswered at this point. So, man, I would love to bring you back on the show as we discussed before we went on air.
Absolutely, Chris. Yeah, let's definitely do a part 2. The audible was, it was a last minute call to go cover some patients at a clinic tomorrow. So yeah, I'm going to put the Dr. Shawn hat on tomorrow. I do want to say one last thing before I close out tonight.
Sure.
I don't know if you've ever heard of decompression. Have you heard of decompression for like lumbar and cervical discs?
I have. I've been through 2 back surgeries. My last one was April of last year. I'm actually in my 5th rehab stint right now.
Have you ever tried decompression?
I have. Yeah.
Did it work for you or help you?
Mildly. The surgery is what worked the most because I actually had to get a fusion. I had to fuse my L5S1.
Okay.
So right now, and I'm gonna bug you because you're a doctor when it comes to chiropractic care. So I'm going through my 5th rehab to recover from the fusion, and so I'm gonna bug you when it comes to Q&A when it.
Absolutely. And the reason why, and here's the thing, Chris. I just learned this myself recently. I'm actually getting involved with a couple doctors with a business project in the decompression space. Mm-hmm. And I was doing what I thought was called decompression at another chiropractic office, but I learned through these guys who are they're experts at this. And a lot of these chiropractic places or these health or wellness clinics or whatever that have the decompress, they're just traction machines. And so I'll get into it a little bit more, maybe on the next show or you in private. Mm-hmm. But I learned that the DX 9000. It's a particular machine that really is truly decompression, and basically it's set up in a way that augments the angle and degree of pull with the area that's actually, it's very specific, meaning traction tables, when they do the pull, it's pulling from north to south, and it's kind of, let's just swing for the fences and hope for the best. And what happens is you end up getting your back muscles, like your rectus spinae muscles, start to cramp up and spasm. I don't know if you ever got off the table, you'd actually feel worse sometimes. So yeah. Yeah, man, it's like medieval times, just stretches you. This machine are like little spaceships. These are amazing. And so I just recently am getting involved with this. So, I spoke about, the speaking and taking that to an all new level, being a voice and all that. But I'm always going to have my hand involved with the health and wellness industry. And so decompression is something that I've become pretty fascinated with, because I had a small disc, it was a 5 millimeter bulge between L5S1, L4 and L5. And so I started doing this, and I got to tell you, man, it's really made a difference. And so I was just fascinated by it. And so I'm kind of getting into a new space under the healthcare umbrella. So, and you had mentioned about having back surgery, so I just was curious to know if you had heard of decompression.
Yep. And yeah, man, fantastic. A lot of people were putting you over here, Shawn. As far as the chat room, they said that thanks for this. Great interview. They say you're a very fluent speaker. You sound like a good guy. You're very nice and a great talker. So a lot of people putting you over in the chat room, man.
Wow. I mean, I can't see any of this stuff, but I want to take your word for it. I'm actually surprised. I seem to get a lot of hate from people, man. I don't know what it is about wrestling fans. They just love there's a lot of negativity in the wrestling world. So it's nice. It's actually it's a pleasant surprise, and it's nice to hear that. I appreciate those comments and sentiments.
Man, I am not trying to be cliche at all, but I generally feel, and I'm not saying this because it's my show, I generally feel that my show has the best fan base. Period. I just the coolest people, very supportive with the wrestlers that come on the show. Very supportive for the show. So I personally think I have the best fan base for my podcast, and they are very. They know how to put somebody over, so you're definitely no different, and I'll put you over as well, man.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm happy for you, man. I think that's great. Keep the episodes rolling, and let's do a part 2. And if you ever have any questions about your health, wellness, any of that stuff, fitness, I'm actually going to be putting out basically, I have a website, Shawn Stasiak. I have a couple websites, but one of them I'm going to cater to the wrestling fan, and I'm putting together a couple fitness wellness programs, and so it'll be available probably in the next couple of months. But I'll share whatever I can do to help you, Chris, with your back, post-surgical, and with nutrition, fitness, whatever anything I can do to help you, give me a holler.
Fantastic, man. Shawn, it's been a pleasure, man. Thanks for coming on, and looking forward to having you back.
Absolutely, Chris. Well, you have a good night. Thanks for all the listeners, and keep supporting us, man. You got a good thing going there. We'll do part 2 in the near future.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Shawn.
Okay,
actually, real quick, plug your social media. You on social media?
Yeah. I was for Twitter, for Instagram. It's Dr. Shawn 008. That's DRSHAWN 008, like James Bond 007. I just had to do one letter or one number up. I had to go 008. Then, of course, so I'm doing some renovations online, but I would love for people to go to what's called phobiatv.com. That's FOBIA TV.com. And that's that alter ego character I created years ago. It was actually a Halloween joke that started out as a Halloween joke, and actually it was the precursor that got me my tryout with the WWE. There's a story behind that, and if you go to the bio or the bio for Dr. Shawn and for Phobia, read that, and all that stuff on there is all true. It's all authentic stories. Like I said, and if there's any teachers out there, PTAs. I'm really, really interested in spending. I really want to speak more to some kids, probably ages from 12 to 17. I think that they would be a great group. I enjoy talking to them just because they're so impressionable and they're at a crossroads which way to go. And I've got some stories in my speaking. So please check out that website. I have a contact page there. If there's any interest in bringing me in to visit their school or a venue, I even do corporations, of course. But I really have a soft spot in my heart with the kids. The demographics from 12 to about 17. I feel like that's a great age range for my message. So it's phobiatv.com.
Awesome, man. Best wishes to you, Shawn, with your crossroads, new journey, and continue to be a fantastic doctor and crack those backs, man.
Okay. I said if I ever go back to WWE or any wrestling promoter, who knows, maybe AEW. You never know. You never know what can happen. Never say never, right?
Yes.
One of my favorite, I'll just end it on this note, and I think all the diehard fans will appreciate this shout out, but God rest his soul, but Ravishing Rick Rude was one of my favorite workers, and he was such a great performer.
Yes.
And he had the Rude Awakening neck breaker, but I always said if I ever make a return, I'm going to call it the final adjustment. I would give it
like
neck breaker. Yeah.
I like it. I think that's great. Right?
And if you think John Cena gives the attitude adjustment, the real attitude adjustment is from Dr. Shawn. Remember that.
Oh, okay. So we need you back to wrestling. You need to play some type of pompous, know-it-all doctor, and with the final adjustment neck breaker. That would be fantastic. Or like the back cracker, like the lung blower. That would be perfect, man.
Chris, I've already got some side scripts written for kind of like a Piper's Pit. See, I'm a retro guy. I'm an 80s guy. I like 80s music. I like all kinds of art, whether it's, I don't care if it's sports, music, movies, TV, but I'm an 80s guy, man. That was my era, right? So same with wrestling. I would love to bring back, like they try to do these different, little talk shows on WWE, but I would love to have something set up where I've got the anatomy chart, I've got spine demonstrations, I've got, that the set looks nice and clean and pretty, but by the end of the interview, that thing is going to be completely wrecked and it's going to end in chaos because Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, it's Dr. Shawn turns into the Stasiak maniac, so I've got all kinds of things up my sleeve,
Oh man, listen, AEW, if you're anybody from AEW, because I know you guys send me emails, I get credentials, so people are watching. So anybody watching this from AEW or Impact, you guys send me emails too. I get your credentials too. So anybody watching from anyone, ROH, I get your guys' emails too. For credentials. So all of you are watching my show. If any one of you, or of course WWE, but if any one of you are watching this, and there you go. I think that's a fantastic gimmick. I think Dr. Shawn can be the most hated person in all of professional wrestling.
Oh yes, of course he's articulate, he's educated, he thinks he's better than everybody. He's got a higher education. He knows the body inside and out. Chris, here's the thing: as much as he knows how to treat people and put the body and the joints back together, he knows how to rip them apart too. So it makes him that much more dangerous.
I love it. Well, you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Shawn, man, I love it. I love the gimmick. NWA, someone saying NWA, I think that's a great idea too. I've had Nick Aldis on the show twice, and so I've had some good NWA people. I've had Dave Lagana on the show too. He's a big part of NWA right now. So.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I throw the odd tweet out there. I've called Jericho out and Cody Rhodes. I don't think they responded. I think they're just afraid of me, to be quite honest with you. I think that they know what's ahead of them if they do smart off. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see.
I'm going to send this video to Dave Lagana, man.
We'll see who's man enough to stand up to Dr. Shawn.
I love it. I'm going to send the video to Dave Lagana just so he can check it out, man, and you know, just so he can know about it. I chat every now and then with Dave Lagana, so I'll send the video to him, man. That'll be a great pitch.
All right, Chris. Well, hey, I've enjoyed it tonight. You have a great night. Thanks for having me on, and God bless you, buddy.
You too. Thanks, Shawn. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Dr. Shawn. I love it, man. Good stuff. I absolutely love it. Kudos to Shawn Stasiak, man. That was absolutely fantastic. Big ups to Dr. Shawn Stasiak, man. Good stuff. I really like that gimmick. I really like the idea behind it. I like just the Dr. Shawn. I really like that. I really like that gimmick, and so I'm gonna send this to Dave Lagana, man. If I have some time, somebody tweet me that, because I have like a bunch of stuff on my Remind Me app, and I usually count on y'all, the PNP Nation, to send me tweets to remind me of stuff. So thank you. Tweet at Crave Wrestling. All right, some good Ask Chris questions as well. Let's see what we got here. Show's going to be a bit modified. Actually, it'll be so great if I can actually find that show that I had that was from the police. And I actually thought about this because I was thinking about some things, because I want to give the Patreon people some advantages, because I'm really serious. Like, you guys understand the work that I put in this show, so there you go. Patreon, Pancakes and Powerslams. So I really need your support on the Patreon. So I mean, if it's $1, if it's there's $1 a month, I think it is, just to say thank you and the support. And then there's like another tier, like $4 or $5 or something like that, just to basically show that the interviews that you'll be getting some interview stuff. So I really want to make that a big deal. What I think I'll be doing is I'll be doing some interviews. I'll be clipping some interviews and getting some retro interviews to put on, to bring back and to do some retro stuff for the Patreon subscribers, the other tier. I have like 200 interviews on the show now, so I'll be putting some retro interviews, and I'll be doing some live interviews for those people too, because I think I might transfer to have retro interviews here on the live podcast, because I definitely want to make it very, very clear that I put so much work into having a great podcast for you all. I'm a current PhD student, ladies and gentlemen, so my time is very limited. That's why I ask you all to tweet me stuff all the time and remind me, just like the Dave Lagana thing. Sending this video to Dave Lagana to talk about Shawn Stasiak. I think Shawn Stasiak would be a perfect addition to NWA. I think out of all the promotions that I said, Shawn Stasiak in the NWA and become NWA World Heavyweight Champion, that's huge, man. That's a big achievement. As Dr. Shawn, I really, really like it. So, all right. So go to Patreon. You see that? We appreciate your support. Join the Patreon, and here comes the website. Boom, chicka, boom, boom, pow, right there. So, join the Patreon, y'all. It's come on. You understand how much work I put in this. I hate asking for like donations and stuff. It took me like 6 years to even have any type of donation, anything. But I realized that, man, for the past 3 years, I've had straight years, I've had an interview on this show every single week for the past 3 straight years. So that's 150 some odd, 158 weeks, 156 weeks. So for over 150 weeks straight, I would have interviews before then, like once or twice a month. But for 3 years straight, I've had an interview on this show every single week. And so I have to, there's the scheduling, there's the availability, there's so much that is in this whole process that I definitely would love your support to at least the time that I put into it, that I won't be, taking time away from my other very, very important high priority things. But I do it for you, so I definitely want to make sure that you get some high quality stuff and some great interviews, maintaining the great interviews. So just donate to Patreon. Take away a fast food meal 1 month to show how much you appreciate the show. Is that a deal? Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get some of these Ask Chris questions before we go to the headlines. My studio, I'm trying to find the headline music here in my Plan B system here. The headlines music, I don't know where it is. So I'll try to find it. Yeah, I'll try to find it. Trying to figure out if I have the I know I have it because all the files I'll put in the studio for Blog Talk Radio. But as the Racho man would say, but I gotta try to find it and see where it is. So as we do that, we will figure it out and get the headline music. In the meantime, in between time, yes, I gotta try to figure out where that is. Let's see. Gotta figure out where it is. All right. Multi said, get that music. Y'all like the headline music? I love it. I gotta try to find where that headline music is. All right, so until then, let's address some of these Ask Chris questions. Do we care about? Rob is asking. Do we care about Fastlane at all? No. So that means that I'll be doing it live with you all. So check out my Twitter for that, because doing a live reaction is much funner. When the PNP Nation is involved. I did that with Elimination Chamber, and it was a lot funner than watching it myself. So I will be doing that again, ladies and gentlemen. I will be doing that again, Lord willing. All right, Multi, you said that one thing to that. You said that one thing to that one person in that one interview that was entertaining. Which one was that? I don't know that. All right. Next is Mahmoud is asking, should Sasha Banks and Bayley retain their tag team titles at Fastlane? I think they should keep them before they were in NXT the other day. Yeah, they were in NXT last week. A lot of people don't like the card, but the Fastlane card is lit. Nice setup for Mania. Yeah. I'm not interested. I mean, I'm not very enthused about it. It's not. I mean, it's a lot of filler because we're not going to get Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan. We're going to get probably Kingston, Mandy Rose and Asuka. I don't really care about that. I'm just not very interested. I mean, I like the Shield deal ish. But I mean, New Day and I mean the Shane and Vince. I mean, the Shane and Miz thing, that is a setup because most likely we'll get a turn. Like I said before, I really, really hope that we are not getting a Shane McMahon turn. I really, really, really hope that that's not going to happen. I do not want to see Shane McMahon as a heel. I don't want to see that at all. As far as Sasha Banks and Bayley, yes, they will return. Retain. Although I can actually see, I would actually be cool. I'm not a big fan of title flipping. But I'll be okay with Nia and Tamina winning the tag titles, just because Tamina's never had a title at all in WWE. So give her a title, man. Come on, give her a title. At least she can say that it was tag team champion, women's tag team champion. As much as she's put in the business, she's never been champion at all. Speaking of that, we'll talk about Samoa Joe. You know, he finally won the U.S. title. I'm a big R-Truth fan. Everybody knows I'm a big R-Truth fan. It hurt me to hear. It hurt me to see that, but you know, Samoa Joe as U.S. champ is makes sense. Definitely makes sense. All right, so. Yes, Multi said R-Truth is great. I agree, man. I'm a big R-Truth fan. I'm gonna find this headlines music. I'm gonna find this music. All right, here we go. Evan Tech Proud is calling in, and he is live in 11 color. Evan Tech Proud, how are you?
What's going on, brother? Good to be here.
It's good to be on the mothership. As Dusty Rhodes would say, baby. Evan Tech Proud, man.
Are we live?
Yes, live in 11 color.
The live here.
Yep.
Family show live.
Yep, absolutely.
They're the fans listening in.
Yep, fans are in here, and we are live, man. The plan B is working, and everything is working fine. I'm actually trying to find the headlines music, though, as we as I do it, as we're doing this. So how's it going? What's that?
Going all right. That's it. We got the live chat going on too.
Oh yeah. Live chat is LIT. And with and Stasiak. Right. Yeah. Multi said hi, Evan. Said the E machine. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you from parts unknown, the E machine.
I like that. I like that. Thank you. That you know, we all got different nicknames.
Yeah.
Sorry, Wendy here, Baltimore. You know, R-Truth told you R-Truth was U.S. champ for Black History Month. Right when March came, they gave it to good old Joe, as we call Kirby.
Yeah.
It was just like Kirby. It's fine. You know, wrestling's a month to Mania. Not too many people are excited. But you can't get no worse than WrestleMania 9.
Oh, Caesar's Palace.
WrestleMania 27. And that was my first Mania.
Yeah. 27 was your first one. 27 was bad news, man. Miz and Cena with The Rock being involved. That was not good. That Mania was not good at all.
The Rock wearing them fitted jeans. He wore out the same outfit the whole year. The same shirt, same jeans, same shoes. That match wasn't even. Was that DQ? That match wasn't no DQ, was it?
I don't even know what the stip was. I know that The Rock interfered and caused Miz to retain the title, which I was very shocked that the Miz retained the title, because I didn't like. To me, it was just out of place. It made sense that he grinded and put all that time in it. I get it, and they showed the promo of the Miz actually looking like a title contender before the match. I think they had like DMX or something like that be a part of like the voiceover or something crazy like that. But
right, it's sad. It's sad because I was there live. And I love the city of Atlanta. I got family that live there, business partners. But that Mania, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it was almost on par. And don't worry, fans. I'm about to be in the live chat. I'm about to be on my way in my office. It was on par, as bad as WrestleMania 9, as King of the Ring 94. That was here, by the way.
Yeah, Baltimore. Yeah.
And Starrcade 94.
Okay, so what was Starrcade?
We know all day about the bad pay-per-views.
Yeah, definitely. Good stuff, man. All right. I'm trying to get these. I think I got it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think I might have got the music, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see.
We can always sing we can always just sing the theme song.
I think I got it.
We always can sing that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on, here we go. Let me make sure that I got it here. This is live, so I think this is the one. But if it's not, so be it. It's just a part of the deal.
I am in
it's a part
the
of
live chat.
Part of the deal.
Okay, wait a minute. Did somebody just call me Evan Almighty? I saw that.
Yes, someone
I saw that.
Evan Almighty, absolutely.
Capital Punishment was trash. I was there live too.
Yeah, Capital Punishment was.
So was Super Brawl 5. I was there live.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, headlines. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is. That is the headlines. I think I'm gonna play that anyways. I don't even know what that sound clip is. I think it was something I made. Let's see what it sounds like. We're live, pal. Let's just do it. Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the headlines. All right. It's time for the headlines.
Headlines.
Headlines. Let's see. There's another one here too.
You gotta do the acapella. The Illuminati attacking us, man. I told you. The Illuminati.
So what it was saying, haha, thanks, buddy. We're live, pal. Oh yeah.
We're live, pal.
I'm gonna try to find that headlines file though. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the headlines. Here we go. Yes. Woo! Yes. There it is. There's the headlines. There's the headlines. Music. Boom. All right. So with that being said, matter of fact, you know what? We're live, pal. Let's play it again. Headlines. Here we. So what is saying? Wait a minute, Chris. That was a Jay Lethal woo. Yeah. Woo. So I can woo. I can woo. Boom kind of sounded like Adam Cole. Okay, I'll get that. I'll get that here in a minute. All right, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the headlines. Here we go.
Oh man!
Boom! There's your Adam Cole right there.
Your face is in and out on Facebook on my end, so still Illuminati definitely trying to get you.
My face looks fine right now. I don't know if it.
It's fine now. Was acting up earlier.
Yeah. I'll do one more Adam Cole for you. Boom! All right. It is. Hey, listen. The show is lit tonight, man. We having a lot of fun. We're live, pal. Plan B is like a house show. You know, Plan B is like a house show. You know, it's like everything's scripted. on the main on the main show, everything's scripted. But a house show, you get to sit back, you get to chill, you get to improv. This is the WWE live event version of the Pancakes and Power Slam show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So, fun stuff. So with that being said, CJ gets an applause, man. Oh man, I gotta try to find my applause too, because I gotta get one for CJ. I have to.
We got some bad pay-per-views listed.
What are the bad pay-per-views?
Brandon Thomas, Bash at the Beach 2000, GHP.
No, Brandon said that was the best. That was the best.
Isn't that the one with Rodman and Savage? Starcade 94, as I mentioned, Capital Punishment, Extreme Rules. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of bad ones.
Yes.
Oscar's okay, real quick. She's fine. She got dumped on the head, but she's all right. She's okay.
GHP. Mahmoud is asking, speaking of house show, what are your thoughts on Oscar's injury? Yeah. She looks like she's good to go. So
she all right.
She'll be fine.
She all right.
I hope they don't drop the. We'll talk about that Fastlane. All right. I'll for the second time, I'll put you over, CJ. I'll give you an applause, a live applause, a we're live pal applause, because he said that Chris's boom is better than Cole's boom. So I got to put you over for that. All right. So flavor of the week. We'll probably do half of them. Let's do a trivia question, by the way. Let's do it. Here we go. Undertaker won the World Heavyweight Championship against blank at the 2009 Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. There you go. Much appreciated, CJ said. Yeah, absolutely, man. I got to put you over for saying that. Mahmoud and GHP are correct. I'm sure there's going to be more answers rolling in. CM Punk is the correct answer. Good job for that.
Can we just wash him away?
What's that?
Can we just wash him away?
Yeah, I've said my thoughts on CM Punk. All right, we'll do one more trivia question here soon. King Kong Bundy passes away at 61. That was very sad. And you know the crazy part is David Hero actually announced it, and actually it's weird because I actually have David Hero scheduled on my show for the 19th. Of course, I want to plug his Shenanigans. I go every year. It's super fun. Yeah. I do a lot of live interviews there. And so I talked to David quite a bit. So, yeah, he's going to be the third co-host on the show on the 19th. And so we scheduled that probably a few weeks back. And, yeah, he broke the news about Bundy. And, yeah, I mean, I've communicated with Bundy through Hero, and yeah, he just from what I know, he just really kept to himself a lot, you know, over the past few years, and yeah, just was just a chill, just really, you know, kept to himself.
Yeah, it's tough because I met King Kong Bundy a few years ago at a regional show. It was right before he started, because you guys don't know he was doing comedy. So when he was starting to lose weight, he drew his hair back, and then he cut it. He went bald again. And I'm very good friends with David Hero, just like you and I are, Chris. And me and me and Hero, I go to Shenanigans. I've been to Blizzard Brawl. Me and David, we've talked personally about a lot. And sadly, the last time I spoke to David is when our good buddy Mean Gene passed. And I know how close Mean Gene was to him.
Yeah.
And you know, me and Gene was a good buddy of mine too. And you and I was talking. I was watching Raw. Raw goes off air. I'm kind of dozing. I get a call from a WWE alumni, you know, that's well known. I got the news about 2 minutes before it broke, because I know our good buddy Gregory Helms tweeted it. I got the phone call, and then that's when 10 minutes later everyone knew. And it's sad because he just tweeted 3 hours before he passed.
Yeah, about his WrestleCon with Al Snow.
Right, him going against my buddy, you know, our good buddy Al Snow at WrestleCon, and he just tweeted. And I do know he was dealing with some health issues, but it's just eerie, man, of like I said, I've met him. Nice dude. He did keep to himself. He was a funny guy. It's sad, man. It's for people just to, in this business with me and Chris working, you know, 6 years for me, going on 7 for you. People may not get it that, you know, we're all like a family. You know, we're not pro wrestlers in the ring, but because we cover these guys, we meet these guys, we talk to them, we interview them, we even talk to them personally. Sometimes we've been in these people's houses, we've driven them, you know, we've been on the road with these guys, and they become like family to you. So when you hear this news, it hits you kind of hard, you know, not, of course, like people we know, like the Hogans and the Foleys or what have you, but to us, it's like, you know, I met this guy, I've talked to him. So it's sad, man. My heart, my heart goes out. You have to live. You got to live every second of your life as if it's your last. You know.
Yep.
So King Kong passed away. He did a tweet 3 hours ago, and I'm pretty sure he thought it wasn't going to be his last tweet. He's gone. You know. I have a cousin personally right after Christmas had a massive stroke. Luckily enough, he's doing well in rehab. And Lee Perry, stroke, he's gone. You know, the lady from The Voice, beautiful black lady.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Freeman, she was at home and a blood clot came, and she died suddenly. So it's a sad, man. I don't want to keep on the sad note, but it's just it's tough. This whole week by itself with deaths is just.
Yeah, it is really tough. You do make a good point as far as just, you know, you never know, you know, and it's really tough, man. And I remember, you know, growing up in the 80s and the 90s. I remember when he was such an influential part in my growing up, you know, as a kid. When he was such a great heel, man. You know, just. WrestleMania, first WrestleMania, I was a baby. I could walk, but I was still a little kid. Yeah, man. And just the mid 80s, mid to late 80s he was such an instrumental figure in the WWE. Came back in '94, joined the $1 Million Corporation. That wasn't very successful, but at the same time, you know, at that point, his career was already big as a heel in the WWE beforehand. That, you know, it still made that he still had a big enough name, you know, to come back, and had a WrestleMania match with The Undertaker, man. He had some big WrestleMania matches. When the LA version of WrestleMania 2, when he did the steel cage match with Hogan, and he of course he went against the I think midgets is a disparaging term now. So the small but mighties. How about that? The small but mighties.
Small but mighty. Sound like a cereal.
Yeah. The small but mighty people. He went against them at the year after. So, Yeah, man, he'll be missed for sure. And he made it vocal. He made it vocal that he wanted to be in the Hall of Fame on Twitter too. And it's weird because it seems like during Hall of Fame discussions, it seemed like it's a given that he's in, but he's not in the Hall of Fame. And it's crazy. I mean, WWE has their way of selecting who they want, and I get it. But it's like, man, like it just doesn't make. It's just weird to me that he's not in the Hall of Fame. So, all right, let's zoom through these for the sake of time here. Torrie Wilson being inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Oh man, you go from one extreme to another.
Yeah,
go to lamenting to joy,
Torrie Wilson,
laughter.
ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. All right. I'll just do this. This is the reason why WWE puts Booker T in the put Torrie Wilson in the Hall of Fame.
I'd do it for you.
Huh? What? I'd do it for you. I'm just gonna play that soundbite just because I go for it, man.
I'll ask the live check, because I said this earlier in my show, and I on and we joke about the Illuminati a lot because they attacked my show when I said this. WWE people do be listening to our stuff. Trust me, I know that for a fact. Your show T Featherstone, they do.
You know what's so funny? Real quick, I interviewed Garza Jr. last year. And WWE cut some of it off because he was kind of spoiled.
Oh yeah. So just let you guys know that, and I'm not mentioning names, so no one asked me who. Matter of fact, I haven't even told Featherstone who it is. I can't invite you who it was. I've had a WWE rep higher up come to me and mention they knew about my show. They know about Featherstone show. You know about a few others that has traction. WWE do listen to what people say. They may not always respond, but like you said, the times I've done interviews and it's like, crap, I can't upload it because they're going to E. You've done stuff, Chris, when I've been with you, like, hey, this is what it is. I can't upload it because of E.
Yep.
They will cut it. Saying all that is this. Live chat, let me know. When you think of Torrie Wilson, even GHP, please tell me. If you can name 4 things that she's known by, please tell me. Because I can only name 2. She was Billy Kidman's girlfriend in the Al Wilson storyline. That is it. Other than that...
Well, she was what, Samantha, right? NWO Samantha?
Yeah, she was Samantha.
Yeah.
She was Billy Kidman's girlfriend. That was it. She ended up marrying Kidman later on. Okay, whatever. And she had the Al Wilson storyline for her actual dad with Dawn Marie.
Yep.
That's it.
Indeed, sir.
I didn't even know this.
Yep.
They actually said in the package she was a pioneer of what?
Yeah.
What have you trailblazed? And let me think. Torrie Wilson is a sweetheart. I've met her.
Yes.
Friends have met her. She's a sweetheart.
She is. She's for niceness.
Yes.
Hall of Fame all day long.
for the nicest people, she goes up there with Foley, with Fred Shockmaster, with Glacier.
Yeah.
She's up there. But in the
Bobby
ring,
Fulton.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Brother Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Surprisingly, my man Paul Orndorff. Sable's not going in because she's with Brock. So that's political.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what have you done? I mean, we could do a disc set of Scotty Goldman. We could think of more Scotty Goldman moments.
That's a good point. We could think more Brockus.
Walker, or Roadblock, or Hector Garza, or Liz Mark Jr., Barry Horowitz, Mantard. Yeah, we keep going. Yep. We can even go to what was that team? The Dicks. Remember them? Mm-hmm. The little short tag team?
Yep.
David had more memorable stuff than Torrie Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal, man. I I was like, you know what? WWE put, first of all, CJ, I found something for you. Here we go.
Laughing at CJ.
Applause. Yeah, CJ's laughing because I said Brockus.
And I agree with GHP. I said that earlier about Beth Phoenix.
Yeah. I don't know. It's for the second time, man. Okay, let's just say this. Okay, WWE puts together killer packages. Okay, so I was like, you know what? Because I was on the fence with the whole. Oh goodness. Who just went in last year? That was controversial too. Beth Phoenix. I was really on the fence with the Beth Phoenix thing too, and I was like, you know what? Okay, so WWE put together a package that was like, okay, but with Torrie, yeah. Here's the silver lining. Okay, I reached out to Eric Bischoff right after, and I've chat with Bischoff a bunch of times off air. He responded very quickly, and we chatted about his thoughts on Torrie Wilson. I wrote an article about it, and he's all for it. He's all for it. His reasoning that she's a nice person, and so I'll put my boy Eric Bischoff over, man. He's been on the show twice. I think Eric Bischoff should be in the Hall of Fame. I think as far as females, I think Victoria should be in the Hall of Fame. Certainly someone like a Jazz should be in the Hall of Fame. Luna Vachon should be in the Hall of Fame. I think Molly just went in like a year or two ago.
Molly didn't go in. Molly inducted Ivory.
No, I think
did she go in?
I think she went in last year. Yeah, last year or year before.
Maybe she did. I totally forgot. You're right.
Yeah, Mahmoud. I said Victoria. I think Jazz, Victoria, and definitely Rob. Definitely Elizabeth. No, Molly Holly's not in. Molly Holly
she's not.
Went into that's true. Yeah. So Jazz, Victoria, Molly Holly, and Luna.
Wendy Richter.
Wendy Richter. Absolutely Wendy Richter.
She should be she should have went in there way before, up there with Medusa, Torrie, and Lita.
Yeah.
Sensational Shari. Is Shari inducted?
Sherry Martell's in. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Molly inducted Ivory is what GSP said. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that was her Hall of Fame affiliation. She definitely should be in the Hall of Fame, 100% though. Yeah.
They're going to induct Nydia next.
Nydia. Me and my Nydia. Gress is asking, why isn't Christian in the Hall of Fame? He was. There was some strong talks of putting him in last year. There's still there's only Honky Tonk Man, Torrie, DX. That's it, isn't it? So there's four or so more people that need to be announced.
There's going to be Beefcake, Bigelow.
Oh, Beefcake too. Yeah, so those are the four official ones.
I think Beefcake and Bam Bam.
I think Beefcake's already. Yeah, Beefcake and then Bam Bam. So Beefcake, DX, Torrie, and Honky Tonk Man are the four right now. I've heard Bam Bam and Taz.
The Warrior Award.
Yeah, Warrior Award. So
and the celebrity.
Yeah. Heart Foundation too. Yeah, they haven't announced that yet, but Heart Foundation, that's the thing.
Anvil and Brett.
Anvil, Brett, and Jimmy Hart. GSP's asking will there be a post WrestleMania pod due to my travels. Yes, there definitely will. I'll be. I leave on Thursday. Well, I leave Thursday morning but typically my WrestleMania weekend is I leave Thursday morning, get to where I need to go, get to the destination, get to the town Thursday morning. I'm typically writing for a while, and then I do coverage in the afternoon. I jump from independent show to independent show, and then the evening festivities, which typically include Shenanigans, Hearts of Hardcore, Hall of Fame, but I don't think I'm going to Hall of Fame this year. I got some media stuff to do for the G1 Supercard, so I'll be going there. I've got some media stuff to do for MLW, and then like I said, jumping from the indie show, independent show throughout the entire weekend, doing coverage after coverage, and then Sunday WrestleMania, and then I come back. I'll fly back to the greatest city in the world, Columbus,
Baltimore
Ohio.
City. Go ahead, Featherstone. Thank you much.
I get back Monday afternoon, morning afternoon.
Thank you so much, Featherstone, for putting over the great city of Baltimore.
No.
The greatest city, Baltimore.
Nope. I wish I had my buzzer sound bite.
You don't. Featherstone. Look, what is spoon for?
Oh, I really need to find it. No. Oh no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
You don't. Look, man. You don't want to come to Baltimore. If you're afraid, you might get shot. Black Baltimore.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
A lot of people scared to come here to the city.
Listen,
Just to let you know, guys know, I get access to like even my pro wrestling. Is Baltimore City like The Wire? It is, but the real Baltimore City is 50 times worse.
Yeah, listen.
So The Wire is legit. Great show.
I'm a big guy. That's 6'1", linebacker, muscular guy. That dude, look, I beat up 2-3 people by myself, so I'm good.
It ain't about fighting. That's the key word, brother, is shot.
Yeah, so be it. It's part of life. I'm a follower of Jesus. If he wants me to go that way, so be it.
Look, Ohio, I love Ohio. I got family in Ohio. I was told with good authority Cleveland isn't that better. Isn't that much better?
Correct.
Yeah, so,
correct.
Trade off on that.
Yeah. So for the second time, Rob, no. Ask Chris, is it true you went to the recent NXT tapings in Orlando? No, I didn't. I went to the NXT show in Columbus last Thursday. Gargano cut a promo basically saying, be on the main roster. Zed is asking, do you think Hulk or Holly will ever get a call to Hall of Fame? I don't think so, unfortunately. I don't think so.
Rocky plug.
Gruss, rumor has the Steiner Brothers going to Hall of Fame. That's not going to happen. Scott Steiner hates the WWE with a passion.
Hey, look,
so
man.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Look, it's possible down the line. You said the same thing against Bruno and Warrior.
Yeah, I think they should go. Of course, they're my second. The Steiners are my second favorite tag team of all time, behind LOD.
I agree.
So they should go in. I 100% think they should go in, but Scott Steiner hates WWE. So, but it happens, man.
Gruss said, what's wrong with EC3? EC3 looks like the Tick. If you ever watch this show, he looks just like him. He's stiff in the ring. He's not charismatic.
Yeah. He's way over, man. He was way over in Impact, but it might be a deal where, like I said, Vince was probably like, I said this at NXT. I was like, Vince probably was saw him walking down the hallway, and because before he had longer, he kind of had like shabby hair, shaggy hair. And he probably walked down the the corridor, the hallway, and he probably did a double take. Like, wait a minute, what's Derek Bateman doing here? And probably he probably told that to Kevin. Came back. Kevin, wait a minute, is that what's Derek Bateman doing here? Get him out of here.
Get him.
We signed him to a contract, Vince.
There's a lot of beef.
Who did that?
There's a lot of beef. A lot of that.
And because that happened, he's on Main Event right now, losing to Apollo Crews. And you all know I love me some Apollo Crews, but that's probably why he's worried. What's Derek Bateman doing back? So that's probably what happened. Regarding butchering my name, Evan, I found something for you.
Okay, go.
You get the buzzer. All right, so we gotta roll for time. Arn Anderson being fired to allowing Alicia Fox to wrestle drunk. Dun dun dun. That was actually reported exclusively by Wrestling Inc. So,
but what I can say on good authority is that Vince and Arn didn't get along from the jump. They weren't really the best chums, and Arn being released basically was, look, you work a job and you do something. All right, this is a reason to let you go. Mm-hmm. Pretty much. I mean, we've seen and heard of things, and we know of things that's happened a lot worse in the E, and the people kept their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Hayes. So, them letting Arn go was like, all right, now we got a reason to let you go. You're going. Vince and Arn did not get along, and this is the reason for him to go.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, my favorite line from Hogan in the NWO, Flair won't be there, Sting will be stung, Liger will be hung, and Arn won't be Arn anymore.
Arn won't be Arn anymore, brother. Yeah.
Whatever that meant.
That's pretty much says it all right there, man. Sad. I mean, I've interviewed, I've made both of these public. Chris Masters loves Arn. He loved him as a agent. Mike Knox, on the other hand, did not. If you type in Mike Knox, Pancakes and Powerslams, or I put an article on Wrestling Inc. too. Type in Mike Knox, Arn Anderson. Google that, and he shares a story about when Arn just kind of played him to the left. That he didn't like him. He wasn't a big fan of Arn Anderson as an agent. Next trivia question. Undertaker defeated Chris Jericho and Blank in a triple threat match at the 2009 Survivor Series. All right, so we typically end like 15 minutes ago, but because we're Plan B and we started later, booyah! Here we go. We're not controlled to the confines of the blog talk time. I'll be here in 90 seconds. They tell me those crazy 60 stuff.
Seconds.
Mahmood, good job. Big show. All right, but we do got to rush though. All right, Raw and SmackDown grades. Thank y'all. Y'all are on it. Good job, guys. Raw was C-, Mahmood said. SmackDown B. What other grades do y'all have? Real quick, let me storm through it. Just some thoughts that I had. Looks like they're turning Bobby Roode and Chad Gable heel. Yeah. And I can't stand seeing Kurt Angle just on regular matches on Raw. I despise it. It's terrible.
He just needs to stop wrestling. Batman 1989.
It's
Michael
terrible,
Keaton.
man. Absolutely terrible.
Just stop.
Rousey turn was it was okay. She needs to slow down on her promos. You all know that I'm a big Rousey supporter, man. She learned so quick, picked up stuff that a lot of females in the back haven't picked up in years. She picked it up in months. You can tell that she really pushed herself to be really good in the business, and so I give that to her. Kudos. I've been an apologist for Ronda Rousey since she started, and I'm all for it. She needs to really work on her promo, and I think she needs to go down, because she'll be like, you know what? I'm a fighting machine. I am the best woman on the planet. You know, you know, like, whoa, pipe down, slow down, Ronda. Cadences, let the fans feel it. Let the fans, just give them sections. Don't just go all the way, Ronda in quick, fast mode. Relax, breathe, let them feel it, and that's what she really needs to work on that. You
talking too fast. Don't talk as slow as Triple H used to during the aggression era, but don't talk too fast when we can't follow you. It's like, I'm not gonna be your dancing monkey. What? Next thing I know, Becky's on the ground. What happened? What did you say?
Right. Now that Becky beat down, like, that showed some real Ronda Rousey there, which I liked, but that promo needs a lot of work, man. So
the way the camera hit, I thought she hit Stephanie. The way the camera angle went.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yep.
I thought she hit Stephanie. Mm-hmm. That would have been cool.
Yep.
But
the Robert's asking, ask Chris, do I think the WWE should induct Shawn into the Hall of Fame? He's a great wrestler and chiropractor. Unfortunately, I'm sure Shawn. He actually texted me right after he loved the interview. He wants to come back in a couple of weeks, so save that for him. But personally, he unfortunately he had the ability, he had the look, he had the talent. They just did a terrible job with him, man. So would this be a perfect time for Paul Heyman? Gross is asking, Chris, would this be a perfect time for Paul Heyman to become Ronda Rousey's manager? She's probably supposed to be leaving after Mania. So real quick, SmackDown.
It was okay.
Yeah. Joe winning the U.S. title was okay. Like I said, I'm a big R-Truth guy, but I'm cool. I mean, Joe winning his first main roster title, man. Yeah, I'm cool with it. And plus, I think to be honest with you, as much as I'm an R-Truth fan, I think this is a perfect time to implement Cena. I think that you do. I think ideally you do. I mean, it might be a multi-person with Joe, Truth, and all four of them. That four-way is a great match, but. Yeah. They'll probably do like a 5 or 6 way or something like that. But if it was up to me, I would put all of them in the Andre Battle Royal. Probably have R-Truth winning. I think that would be cool for R-Truth. I think a much bigger marquee match would be Joe versus Cena for the U.S. title at Mania. I think that's the way to go. I think R-Truth. I think R-Truth building up Cena for these open challenges and things like that is a good way to bring Cena back. You do Cena versus Joe, and you have Cena put Joe over. I mean, Cena doesn't need to win. Why will Cena need to win? Joe beat Cena. I mean, I think you put Joe over with Cena through Cena. I'm sorry, I couldn't find the. Let me see. Maybe I can find the flavor of the week soundbite. So we're going to jump right into the flavor of the week.
We forgot to mention real quick. What are your thoughts, Chris and everybody, on the Triple H segment when he starts talking about the real Ric Flair?
Yeah.
It's like, I went ahead and just got another plate for what I cooked for dinner.
Yeah. I was like,
but hey,
they're really grasping for straws when it comes to.
We got an Instagram promo though. I think that's the first ever on Raw.
Yeah.
From Batista.
Yeah. Yeah,
Other than that, this is.
Yeah, it was just like, dude, like you're like, they're really trying their best to make this something, and I was just like,
Richard Flair.
right.
Not too many people know.
Not many people know Richard Flair.
I'll come to your house.
He's become one of my best friends. I was there for his marriages. He was there for my wedding.
My wedding, Richard Flair.
Many people know Richard. Many people know Ric Flair, but I know the real Richard Flair.
The real man. I'm gonna go use how he almost died to add for cheap sympathy and do the pause as if I cried. Going to end my promos like I always do when I'm mad. And
I wanted to do a 70th celebration for my best friend, but you, Batista,
it be surrounded with people that are better than me.
Stingy.
Stingle, HBK. You got to do the classic Triple H when he gets mad. Notice this, Kevin Dunn, zoom in times 20 on Triple H.
Right. Oh yeah, the zoom in. Yeah.
You got my attention now. Look at the.
Right. You got my attention now.
I'll see you after Endgame.
I didn't buy it, man. I wasn't sold on that promo. I mean, Triple H's a good promo guy, but it didn't sell me at all. All right, so I can't find the Flavor of the Week promo, guys. I apologize. I can't find that soundbite.
But you know what? Rob West said he's going to tell Triple H we're making fun of him. I'm gonna say this. Chris, I met Triple H. I've had dinner with him at an event with Crystal Nowinski and them. Great guy. Triple H does not talk like that.
No, he doesn't.
In real life.
No, he doesn't.
He's a nice guy. Mm-hmm. Very funny, strong as hell. But I started to say Triple H. I was doing it. But he a lot of doing that. Very very generous guy. Same thing with Stephanie, but in my sense,
but we gotta go. We gotta run out of time. Yeah, we gotta get to the Flavor of the Week. So since I can't find the sound bites, I'll do it via the voice of Triple H. It is now time for the Flavor of the Week. So with that being said. GSPF said, I appreciate the OT. Good stuff. My pleasure, man. Since it's Plan B, we can do this. It's very structured when I'm on the Blog Talk site. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to do this for a few weeks because we can't do it for time. We can't do much for time restraints this week, but we'll do it for the next few weeks. Controversial questions. So I wrote down 10. It looks like I'll be writing more. I just need some flash answers from you all of how you guys feel about this. I just wrote down 10 very controversial questions. And so I'm going to say them. And I don't remember the order that I put them in. And I'm going to shuffle them even right now. Even now. Now I'm going to shuffle them right now. All right. So here we go. So I'm going to draw these from random. I'm going to say the question. And you're going to I'm probably say a couple right now because we got to roll. All right. So here's the first question. Oh, all right. So 10 controversial questions, and you guys are going to answer it. We're just going to give our short thoughts on it because we gotta close up shop. All right. First question is this: there could have been someone else who could have replaced Hulk Hogan to boost WWE in the 1980s? Yes or no?
No.
What do y'all think, PNP Nation? There could have been someone else who could have replaced Hulk Hogan to boost WWE in the 80s. Or is Hulk Hogan the guy?
Not at all.
Zed said no. GSP said no. Gruss says yes. Okay, Gruss, who do you think? Who would have been good? Rob says no. What do y'all think? Evan says no.
Nah.
Gruss the only one says yes. All the no's. Who do you think? They were thinking about doing, I forgot, there was somebody that they were kind of pinging to be, I forgot what his name was. It was like, he was just some kind of jobber. He ended up being like some type of like enhancement talent. But Gruss says there's no star bigger than WWE. Okay. Rob says people were different back then. Smarks didn't exist. Very good. Very good. Very good point there. Very good point. Okay. Let's do one more question. And we will close up shop. All right. Next question is. Oh, okay. Here we go. A woman's WrestleMania main event would have been more appealing if Asuka's undefeated streak remained. A woman's main event, a woman's WrestleMania main event, would have been more appealing if Asuka's undefeated streak remained. That's the question we'll do for now. And still got the outro music too. Yes, Asuka versus Rousey versus Charlotte versus Becky. 4-way? I don't know about 4-way. I think Asuka versus Rousey for one title and then Charlotte versus Becky for the other. I think Charlotte Becky for the SmackDown title, Asuka versus Rousey for the Raw title. I think that would have been two fantastic matches. Rob says absolutely. If they were undefeated Ronda versus undefeated Asuka, whoa, man, I agree, Rob, 100%. I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
JSP says yes, agrees. Yep. Yeah, like I said, to me, much more appealing than a triple threat. I am not sold on a triple threat whatsoever. I think Charlotte Becky for the SmackDown title, Asuka undefeated versus Ronda Rousey heel for the Raw title. That would have sold. Yep. All right, so let's do one more real quick before we go. Let's do one more. Here we go. Ah! This is really good. Oh. Oh. Y'all ready for this one? Okay. This is the last one. This is a great way to end the show. There is an intentional reason why no African American has been WWE champion. Dun, dun, when I said controversial, I meant, you gotta zoom in. I meant controversial. There's a zoom in. And these are totally from what the people are saying. Zed says, "Oh wow." Gress says yes. Rob says yes because Vince is Irish. Zed said, "See, I still include The Rock." Well, I don't because
I don't either.
He's half Samoan.
He's Samoan.
Yeah.
In the WWE, it is all Samoan.
So yeah.
The Rock has not been black since WrestleMania 13 when his daddy came out the table against the Sultan. Air quote Rikishi.
GSP said no comment. I'll be nice. Okay. I'm just gonna go by what y'all say. There's an intentional reason why no African Americans have been champ. So if you think about that a little bit more, tweet at Chris Prolific. There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an honor. Plan B, I don't know, man. Plan B might be better than Plan A. So I had a good time tonight. So Shawn Stasiak got back to me. He's ready to come back on the show for a part 2, man. So he was absolutely fantastic. I want to thank the PNP Nation. Yes, I love it. Hashtag Plan B. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Zed. Says awesome show. Do me a favor, guys. Go ahead and get that thumbs up. Thumbs up for the show. You know, so funny. I have like all these likes for the videos, but I have no comments. Y'all better leave some comments on the show, or I will put you down. So yeah, comment on the show, guys. Comment on YouTube. Been a fun show. So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of 362 episodes, big thanks to Shawn. Big thanks to my boy Evan Tech Proud, as always. Rob says you can't comment during, but you can comment after. So there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, a homework assignment for everyone. GHP says leave a comment after the stream is over. Absolutely, that is a homework assignment. Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, 362 episodes. Big thank you to Shawn Stasiak, my boy Evan Tech Proud. Always remember, ladies and gentlemen, God bless. Enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless, and always remember, I do it for you. Have a good night, Lo.
Yeah.
Have a good night, everybody. Bye bye.